How about that? A record breaker. VJ Edgecombe big down the stretch and a much needed win over the Miami Heat to even the season series. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers postgame show live from the Xfinity studio along with Derek and Bree, the president of basketball operations. I'm Devon. Great to see all of you hanging out with us early here on this Thursday on the late night, but early in the chat. We thank you so much for jumping in with us as the Philadelphia 76ers win tonight. A big win over the Heat, 124-117. Sixers now 33-26 on the campaign. Really good win, posting 4 players in double figures, 3 of which over 20 points. One shy for VJ Edgecombe with 19, but he was tremendous, especially down the stretch. We'll talk about him, of course, at length. And we are presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment's never ordinary at Bet365. We'll give you the player of the game as we go along. We'll talk about the new record king. That is Tyrese Maxey. But first things first, the main thing. And I think it does include the record king. And that is now Tyrese Maxey with the new record breaker on the record-breaking night for Maxey. And a much-needed win over the Miami Heat tonight, Derek. Again, 7-point win, but they needed to scratch and claw. They even lost the fourth quarter by a point, but they still won the basketball game by 7 points. So shout out to their first half for giving them a bit of a cushion, but they got it done nevertheless.
Yeah, you know, they Sixers were up 16 at the half. I put a question into our Discord, like the Sixers will be up by how many points heading into the fourth quarter? And Devon, that entire 16-point lead was wiped away in the first 7 minutes of that third quarter. It was completely, truly, on a team that has been the worst third quarter team all year. This was one of the more striking ones because they were playing really good ball in that first half. But I think they ended that third quarter on a pretty strong note. Like I thought they did a good job of, coming back and rebuilding a little bit of a lead. And then certainly at the end of the game, I mean, look, the end of the game on an 8-0 run, a game they won by 7 points. It was, a lot of games, especially when you're playing against another really good team, another really well-coached team, and a team that really tries their butts off. It's not always going to be pretty the entire game. It's not going to be easy. But I thought this was a real resilient win and the kind of games that you need to win if you're going to make any kind of noise in the playoffs. And there was so much adversity they fought through. Joel Embiid getting hit in the rib, and he clearly never looked comfortable after that. VJ took a hard landing in the second quarter? Mm-hmm. And looked like he wasn't himself for a good quarter and a half. And they took a really good run from Miami there in that third quarter and were able to bounce back from all of that. And it wasn't, just a single person. Like, the game started off, Tyrese hit 4 threes before, most people even sat down. Like, he set that record very quick. What, he had 20 points in the first quarter?
First quarter.
Embiid had right there with him something like 20 points in that first quarter. Or no, he had 16 in the first quarter. I think he had 21 at halftime.
Yes.
But those two dominated early. And then they hit some adversity. And you had other players step up. You had Kelly step up. You had especially VJ step up. And I thought VJ, during that stretch in the fourth quarter, for him to come down there, and it's one thing to make shots. Like, he had some really good moments in the first quarter, mostly driving early in the offense, attacking early in the offense, really attacking in semi-transition with strong drives to his left. His success in the fourth quarter was a lot of real tough pull-up jumpers, real tough, stop and pop mid-range jumpers that he just elevated and shot over the defense. The kind of stuff that, if you're new here, it was sort of a running joke of what's VJ's go-to move. That's the kind of stuff over a couple years of development he can actually develop into a go-to move. And he's showing signs of it now in big moments against tough teams when you desperately need him. This, to me, as much as we will obviously talk a lot about Tyrese Maxey, who set that franchise record for made threes in his career. But long runway still to go yet. We'll talk a lot about Joel Embiid and about how he looked after coming back and about what this means with the rib and whatnot. But to me, really, in the second half, this was as much about VJ as anything, just because he is the kind of guy who is, it's still really early in his career. There's so much development ahead of him, so much promise ahead of him. And I was really impressed by the way that he was able to, stand up and really take control of that game down the stretch.
He played the entire 12 minutes in the fourth quarter and didn't look tired. Didn't look like he was, just affected by being out there for that amount of minutes. He overall finished the night with tonight 39 minutes and 14 seconds, which was a game high, 39-14 in minutes played. He was efficient again, 8 for 12 from the floor. His 4 misses from behind the three-point line. So, just a fantastic job by him helping out on the glass with his 8 boards. He had 2 steals, 1 block shot. Didn't look fatigued at all, something that we talked about there going into the All-Star break. And we mentioned it as his own little box there when we had our conversation in the pregame of him playing this way. And as you said, the record king, he has taken, it's his night. But they don't win this game without VJ Edgecombe's play over with the entirety of the game, but certainly the 7 points that he contributed with in that fourth quarter. He was a perfect 3 for 3, fantastic, big shots, got fouled on the one where I didn't even think it was going in because it looked like it was more of a line drive shot because he was so high up in the air, but he made that. And it just makes me think and go back to the Scott Drew conversations that we had with the head coach of Baylor, Scott Drew, when he was on, when we talked to VJ Edgecombe at Summer League and even on Media Day, but also just our internal conversations with among the 4 of us here, where we discussed his mid-range game and how we didn't see a lot of shots fall for him on the collegiate level. He discussed often the spacing that wasn't there because it wasn't just packing the paint for the defender. It was also that his teammates, which were also big men, would be in the paint because of what because of what collegiate big men were, and especially on his team where he had guys packing the paint. So it took away a lot of the driving opportunities for him. But to see his growth, his development, I think this is game number 54 of his career, and to see the poise, how under control he is down the stretch. The mistakes are going to happen because he is only game 54 of his career, but to see these types of plays made by him in a playoff-like atmosphere against a team that they could very well meet at some point in the playoffs. You love to see that from a rookie to help the Stars when Joel Embiid was, we think, impacted by that rib shot that he took early in that first half, play the way that he did down the stretch. So hat tip to VJ Edgecombe for the work that he did to team up with Tyrese Maxey, who really had to find his shot down the end after having that 20 in the first quarter. VJ Edgecombe, tremendous work by him. I'm glad we even highlighted him in the pregame because to see that 19, it felt like it was 29 with the way that he ultimately finished the game, as well as the 8 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block.
Well, and he really did. We're probably going to focus a lot on the mid-range pull-up jumpers just because that's such a swing skill for him. But he did, he's got the graphic up there. He did so many other things. He was really helpful on the glass and had some huge rebounds. That great, touch pass to Kelly in the corner.
Fantastic, yeah. His feel for the game is really good.
Incredible feel for the game. Yeah. And even just those drives, like I said, the first quarter drives where he's attacking early in the offense against an unset defense, the kind of aggressiveness and quite frankly, just belief in his handle that you don't always see from him. It was real, and honestly, some tough finishes at the rim too there with those. It was one of his better, especially when you factor in what they needed from him, with Paul out, with Joel looking like he was slowed in the second half, with Tyrese Maxey, losing a little bit after his outburst in the first quarter, and with Paul obviously suspended. They needed him to really step up and hit some big shots, and he did a fantastic job.
He really did. So that's our main thing to start off here tonight with the record setter by Tyrese Maxey, and just a big win here in general. So let's get to the player of the game. We'll just focus on him because, look, the 20 points in the first quarter, just tremendous. I thought he was going for 40. I thought he was going to hit 10 threes.
You should have seen the bets that Devon was trying to wager middle of the game.
Bet365, I was trying to help you out there tonight because I'm like, oh, this guy's going to go for 10 threes tonight. and I was talking about some of the others with Bree and Derek about, Bree brought up LaMelo hitting 10. I had Concanipple hit 7 or 8 already. I think he had 8 again tonight. And I was like, yeah, Maxey's going to get that. He has a really good feel going on right now. But Maxey's numbers tonight, as we highlight that, Bree, could you throw that up one more time? 28 points, 11 assists. So as they changed their defense, you saw the size that was on him in the second half to try to slow him down. 11 assists to also help on the glass with his 4 boards, 2 steals, a block, only turning the ball over 2 times once again. He was 5 for 12 from behind the three-point line. But as Nick Nurse said in pregame, Kyle, from his Neubeck's notes early on, talked about the amount of threes that he wants him to be able to get off and stepping into those if he has, even if it's a few feet behind the three-point line, have at it because we know that he can make it. He played 37-50, was 9 for 26, but even with that, to get that 28 points, setting that tone early, they were up by as many as 16 points. And look, we know how bad their third quarters are. We will talk about that in their second half overall.
I'm just so happy that's not the primary topic tonight.
I know.
Oh, I didn't need that.
They still need to correct it. But the way that the tone was set by him, where they were uplifted by knowing, number one, we knew it, they knew it, he knew it. He knew he needed 4 threes to break the record, and they were hunting for him to get those early on, and he did do that with that 5 that he had there to start the game off. But when they set that tone that way, if they're playing that way, Derek, and they can keep that momentum, sure, they're going to tail off, and then runs are going to be made by the opposition. But it doesn't have to be 20, as we know, because he can go for his 10, and Embiid's got 14, and the way that they are playing, and Edgecombe just doing those little things, the role players also helping out with their rebounds and timely buckets here or there. Loved how he set the tone early because they were all ready for that record to be set. And the only thing is, of course, we wish they would have kept that same momentum going the entire night. But just your thoughts on how the game got underway and him breaking Allen Iverson's record.
No, I mean, it was, first of all, I'm glad after the game, he mentioned, yeah, it's a great accomplishment, and I'm proud of it, because you could tell he was coming out and he wanted that record tonight. He absolutely wanted to set that record on that home floor in that game. And look, Kyle talked about it before the game. Nurse talked about it in the press conference before the game. They want him hunting those shots in not necessarily transition, but early offense, as he's bringing the ball up. And he found a couple of those with space early in that first quarter. But he came out firing.
Oh, he was ready.
Honestly, you saw it set up a couple drives there early in the first quarter too, where when you have to guard him out there, it's really, really tough to extend out the 30 feet to guard a guy who's probably the quickest with the ball in his hands in the league. So, I mean, it was a truly incredible performance early on. Even though he stopped making shots at that rate, I thought his floor game was excellent.
Yeah.
He obviously had how many steals he end up with
2
in this one? Okay. He obviously had the steals. Defense was a little hit or miss depending on the gambles he was taking and the off-ball stuff. But it was a really incredible, like I said, start. Clearly came out gunning for that record. And then he just settled back into a really good floor game. It was like I said, the shooting numbers at the end of the night weren't all that strong. What did he end up shooting from the field here? 9 for 26 for his 28 points.
Yeah.
But I will take that performance from him pretty much every night because I do think he was really putting pressure on the opponent, forcing rotations and finding the open man.
Again, Eric Spoelstra had to shift the defense a little bit. And look, just want to make it clear that Norm Powell only played, I believe it was 10 minutes on the night. Left the game. Norm Powell did 10 minutes and 4 seconds. He wound up leaving the game, did not return. But with it, overall, when you look at Norm Powell, not known as a defender, but I said to Derek and Bree at one point, look how he's sitting down in his defensive stance because Maxey was already rolling. He got switched on him. And Norm Powell, I haven't seen him play defense like that since he was in Toronto and they were making a championship run. And he did that. After he leaves, you have Andrew Wiggins, good one-on-one defender with some length. Yep. Second half, Jaime Jacquez is on him. Pelly Larson with some strength and some physicality there for Tyrese Maxey and some length in the second half on him as well. And we already know that Davion Mitchell is a really good bulldog type of defender. Tyrese Maxey can shoot over him though. That said, I thought he handled it really well. Got tired, I think, because of all the emotion that went into wanting to get that record, had it rolling early, and it kind of went away just a little bit for the way that he was playing. But setting that tone, I think, is something that if they can just maintain, they only had 5 turnovers, everybody, in the first half.
Yeah.
Only 3 in the third quarter, which still seemed like it was 9 because of all the missed shots that they had consecutively as they started the game. But I just kind of go off of when I ask and we start our pregame show and the 4 of us are talking with all our people here, and I bring up get off to a good start. It's not just because of the third quarter. It's simply set the tone. Set the tone. The team sets the tone in the third quarter that you're playing against. You set that tone in the first quarter and build your lead at some point, even though we are into the season so deep at 59 games.
It's wild, though. Like, they're up
I'm trying to stay positive. I'm just saying, set the tone of starting the game right.
They're up 16 at the half, and you're like, yeah, but we got a third quarter coming up. It's like the Sixers are playing Mario Kart. You know how when you're at the back of Mario Kart, you always get like the blue shell or the star? Like, the other team has a star to start the third quarter every time, and the game is always going to be close by the time we enter the final 12.
It is unbelievable. But the Maxey piece of it, just to see, we are seeing, though, when he and Embiid are out there, those 2 guys go off in the first quarter, and they really do put points on the board immediately where the opposition has to make some changes.
No, and we talked about in the pregame show, like, Miami has no real ability to defend Joel when he's cooking. And
as good as Bam is, still.
He's way too small.
He's too small.
He's way too small. And, those 2, Maxey and Embiid, have such good chemistry that, a lot of times the offense, there's not, when you start going too deep into the bench, obviously a lot of the bench players, a lot of the role players are either non-shooters or limited offensive players. It can get clunky. But when those 2 are on the floor, they have, first of all, their skill sets just, like, they're built in a lab to play next to each other. And they have so much chemistry now and learned experience playing alongside of each other that they can just fall back into habits and just pummel teams at times. And the first quarter especially, you saw that in a big way.
Yep. All right, we're going to take our first pause of the night here as the Sixers pick up a very good win, 124-117. Wasn't pretty, but again, this felt like a playoff game between these 2 teams. Sixers now on the season, 33-26. The Miami Heat, 31-29. We'll show you the standings just to update it as Bree always does because she's on top of it. That's why she's the best. She is the president of basketball operations. But they improved their lead over the Miami Heat with this victory. Also playing tonight, the Orlando Magic. So, again, we will update you as the night goes along as to exactly where things are. A really good matchup right now between the Rockets and the Magic that will have impacts on the Sixers in the standings. Sixers win. Really good one. 124-117. The franchise record from 3. That goes and belongs to Tyrese Maxey now, passing Hall of Famer Allen Iverson. We'll discuss Joel Embiid, Kelly Oubre, the bench, and much, much more after this really good win by the 76ers. It's the PHLY Sixers postgame show presented by Bet365. Sixer fans, do you really want Joel Embiid returning punts? Heck no. He already has enough issues with the injuries. You don't want that. It's not worth the risk, time, or money. You need to win games. And when you have your own business, you also need to make sure your business is successful and be the star that it is. And that same idea applies with your basketball team to your business. And that's where Togo comes into place. For small and mid-sized businesses, competing with bigger companies isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. With competition heating up, you can't afford to fall behind. AI goes way beyond ChatGPT. It gets overwhelming fast, right? So that's why having a trusted guide like Togo matters. And instead of buying expensive AI tools, Togo helps you build exactly what you need at a fraction of a cost. So every engagement starts with free process mapping, and Togo doesn't bill a dime until real work begins. Programs start as low as $1,000 a month and are built to scale without breaking the bank. Visit harnesstogo.com and mention PHLY for a free operational assessment.
Guys, we all know the feeling. You walk into a jewelry store, you're trying to pick out something special for your partner, but you're in over your head. You're thinking, what's the difference between all these diamonds? What if they don't like it? It can be very stressful. That's why working with Joe and Michelle at Bucci's Jewelry and Design has been such a game changer. From the moment that you walk in, they're there to listen. There isn't a pushy sales vibe. They're not putting pressure on you. They're trying to help you pick out something very special for your partner. And by the way, they can design something completely custom right there in-house so it feels personal. And right now, gold prices are over $5,000 an ounce. So if you've got old jewelry sitting around, Bucci's can help you sell it for cash, refurbish old pieces, or turn it into something brand new. 30 plus years in the game, Philly's #1 jeweler with over 1,000 5-star reviews. So whether you're buying new or turning gold into something special, visit Bucci's Jewelry and Design at BucciJewelers.com and tell them the guys at PHLY sent you.
Back here on the PHLY Sixers post-game show, 124-117, the final score. We also want to tell you that we got a new deal coming up. Well, it's in play right now, as a matter of fact, and that is the new Combine deal for $36 for 1 year, and that is to become a diehard member at allphly.com. The Combine is in play right now. You know the guys were there from the PHLY Eagles podcast. They did a fantastic job while there, and you got to take advantage for the 1 year intro offer, $36, the full NFL Combine coverage. Just because the guys are back at home doesn't mean they still won't write about things, which they will. Complete access to Fran Duffy's draft guide, the best in the world, a free t-shirt of your choice from the PHLY store, and just premium football coverage all year long at allphly.com. This deal runs through the end of the Combine, so please take advantage of it right now. You get the great written content from Derek and Kyle on the Sixers, Charlie O'Connor on the Flyers, and all of the written Phillies content at allphly.com. Please take advantage of this $36 intro offer only at PHLY, and only as the length of the Combine goes. Go check out allphly.com. And while you're there, we have our hoodies on right now. Let me lean down here. You know, got Nux if you buck, as E. Ross likes to say there in the chat, Gene. And Derek has the black with the logo. Go check it out. PHLY store.
You know, the way you said that, the Combine deal, it sounded like it was like a combo deal. Like, what, do you get a free soft drink with that? It was
You get a free t-shirt instead of the soft drink.
Okay.
With the combo.
That's not a bad combo.
There you go. Yeah, good combo deal overall. Since we're talking about combos, check out our friends at Wawa with the great deals that they have. Make sure you go check them out 5 to 11 every day for the breakfast sizzly deal. Any sizzly, your choice, hash brown, and a hot or iced coffee, all for $5. You're on the move, you're on the run. You got to stop at Wawa. And then don't forget about the chicken sandwich, grilled or crispy chicken with the teriyaki sauce. Go check it out.
Grab the Wawa coffee on the way in. Add some Chocolate Bliss on the drive-in.
Chocolate Bliss.
That is honestly my new favorite coffee they have. Wawa, if you're listening, please make that a full-time
not just
flavor,
seasonal.
not just a temporary thing. Absolutely my favorite new flavor they've introduced in a long time.
Bree, have you tried that one? Since we know you're a coffee drinker, have you?
No, but I tried the chocolate craze and it's really good.
It's really good?
Yeah, I put some almond milk in it.
Huh. The caramel cream was good, but the chocolate bliss is next level. Okay. Absolutely.
All right. Get that with your sizzly and your hash brown. Only at Wawa, 5 to 11, limited time during the morning hours. $5. That's all you need, $5. You're good to go right there at Wawa. All right. Let's get to it. Joel Embiid, that rib shot.
Yeah.
It looked like, got off to a really good start. 11 points in the first quarter, 16 is there. 20, how many did he have in the first half?
21.
21 in the first half.
And then they only scored 2 points until making that big corner three.
Yeah, so he finished with 26, 11 boards, team high, 11 boards. But, it really looked like that affected him. And with the 21 in the first half, he was 6 for 12, 8 for 9 from the free throw line. Comes up off the bench, hits that big three there to help secure the win. But it immediately made me say to Derek and Bree, everybody in the chat, Boston on Sunday, is this going to be on the injury report for the next couple of days about the rib now? So it was the obviously the knees, then it's the shin. Now, are the ribs going to be there? Because after the celebration, I said to Derek and Bree, did he just chest bump with Dominic Barlow? And he's holding his rib. I don't know if it was because he had to lift up and take the shot and he felt it in his rib. Good numbers, great win. But now we have to worry about the rib, I think.
Yeah, and honestly, he didn't look like himself after that. Like, he spent a number of possessions just like drifting in the corner, not even setting screens, not really doing much of anything. And say what you want about Joel Embiid, that is not the way he plays basketball. He wants to operate, set up his offense in the middle of the floor, set screens, hit mid-range jumpers, and drive. And he did none of that for a good, solid stretch. What I will say is, and like I said, I think that rib was clearly impacted. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was the pain. Maybe it was the fact that he didn't want to get hit there. I don't really know. It'll be interesting to see what he says, assuming he speaks in the locker room. I'll give him credit, though, because some of the best rebounding he's done this year came in that third quarter. And I thought he really committed himself to boxing out and to pursuing defensive rebounds in ways that he doesn't always do. I think he did a good job finding a way to contribute. And like I said, some of those were pretty key rebounds that this team, and look, they have their rebounding problems, but this is a Miami squad that they pretty much, if you look at it on a percentage basis, I'm pretty sure they out-rebounded Miami in this game, something that I don't think any of us really expected. It was one of the keys that we listed.
49-45.
Yep. And like I said, on a percentage basis, I would have to do the math, but at the very least, they're about dead even. And that was one of the keys that we had coming in, and he was a big reason why they were competitive on that end and were pretty much pushing them to a draw.
I just worry because Sunday's a big game. Again, with the Boston Celtics.
And then you got the Spurs coming up.
Then you have the Spurs.
They've won 1 billion in a row.
11 in a row tonight. It's just the Spurs are on a roll, everybody. We're going to update the standings with where the Sixers are in the Eastern Conference standings. But as far as the San Antonio Spurs, they're not going to they already caught the Oklahoma City. They're only a game and a half back of the Thunder.
Didn't we both list them as a surprise team coming into the season? So look, we get a lot wrong, so I'm going to have to pat ourselves on the back for that one.
Yeah, six game lead over the Houston Rockets right now, by the way, Houston and Denver for the second seed in the West. And they've already beaten up on the Thunder, so that would be a really fun situation that we will monitor when we get there. But, yes, San Antonio, 11 in a row. We see them next week here. It's a back-to-back also, so we'll see how it goes for them. But as far as Joel Embiid goes, I love the way that he played off of Tyrese Maxey early. They were cooking. He was getting to the free throw line, and they looked solid in that first quarter, the way that they were playing. He looks really comfortable again with the it doesn't seem like the shin is bothering him. Putting the ball on the floor, going to the basket, getting those guys in foul trouble, but seeing the hang dribble right away as the game got underway, knocking down his shot. He looked for Maxey early. Maxey missed that first jumper. Maxey then, after the Heat missed, they come back down. Joel gets really good post position, makes a fantastic move, gets and finishes. But I couldn't help but see that rib bothered him the remainder of the game. But he also came in and hit that huge shot that they needed down the stretch. We thought he was done because he was already at 30 minutes, and we said, I know the shin is his second game back after the shin. Doesn't seem like it's affecting him, but I wonder if they keep him on the bench for the remainder of the game simply because of those minutes. But they needed him in that final 3 minutes, and he paid off big dividends there with that shot in the corner. Yeah. At first, it's like, Joel looks more comfortable shooting from behind the three-point line now. He seems like himself shooting that shot, but sitting cold the way that he did, and Maxey penetrating, touching the paint, kicking it out to him. I thought it was someone else. I thought it was VJ Edgecombe, honestly.
Well, and that's not his spot. That's not his spot at all.
Right.
Like, that was his 5th made corner 3 of the entire season. He very rarely catch and shoots. Whenever he does, it's almost always a pick and pop, not a pure catch and shoot. He's going to want to do that from the top of the key. He's going to want to jab step and pump fake, like just to sit on the wings, sit in the corners, catch the ball, shoot the ball in rhythm. That's not his game at all. Even when he's making threes, that's not his shot. So for him to have the confidence to take that and make that was absolutely huge.
Yeah, needed that one, man. So something for us to pay attention to. Make sure you follow Derek, Kyle on Twitter.
And Devon.
Okay, me too. And our account, our team account, PHLY_Sixers, because the rib thing, we'll wait to find out what is said post-game.
I just want to be clear.
But follow us on Twitter to find out what's going on.
_Devon Givens. Follow that right now. Right now.
Thank you. Appreciate it. By the way, this is one guy on Twitter that has the same first and last name. And it's just...
He's got your name.
But he doesn't use the account.
Oh.
It's unbelievable.
I have been trying to get a Gmail account for legitimately 15 years,
I have to
and
show
it drives
to you.
me nuts.
It's ridiculous. He has nothing going on that Twitter account
Come
for
on.
years.
If you're going to squat on a high-profile name like that, and there's nobody higher profile than Devon Givens, you've got to at least use it. Come on, man.
Follow us to make sure that you get your updates on Joel Embiid and his.
It's a good call. I was curious why you went with the underscore, but
That's
that
the
makes
only
sense.
reason. That's because everything else, it's right there. But I had to do that way. That said, follow us and make sure you find out where we are just because you want the update as we lead into 8 o'clock start.
That was
against
recent,
Boston.
right? Because you previously had a previous employer in your name, right?
I had the three numbers there on the back end of my name, which was fine because I could use that. I didn't need an underscore there. But yes, do that. Also hit the like button, like and subscribe to the show. We appreciate it. We'll follow others, including Kyle, to see who has any update on Joel Embiid postgame after the rib issue there. I'd imagine it'd be a long night at the podium with the record-setting night for Tyrese Maxey and so many other things that took place. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll update you on the standings. We'll talk about some other players that played. Kelly Oubre had a nice night.
Yeah,
he did.
Great
Campaign, outside of like two things, had a decent night. At the guard position, we'll talk about so many others in helping with this win. Adembona, Campaign, Quentin Grimes, so many others. Kelly Oubre, of course, as the Sixers win 124-117. We'll go around the league a little bit later because it does impact the standings there as well. We'll do all that as we hang out with you. As Larry says, go with Devon_Givens on Twitter. I don't know. I think I kind of just like,
I wouldn't change anything.
yeah,
now.
at this point, we'll just leave it there. But Larry, more suggestions, let us know in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll keep it going after this break right here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show. All right, family, listen. You ever having one of those days? No. Sorry. Those weeks like we do here. 4 games a week. Food is a priority. It's our fuel, and we forget to pack certain things. That's where the great people at Wawa comes into play. Wawa now has $5 deals all day, and honestly, it just makes life easier. How about starting in the early morning where we have maybe a meeting, you're running behind, you can grab the $5 big breakfast meal deal where we're talking about a sizzly, any sizzly, maybe croissant, sausage, and egg and cheese, whatever you may like, hash brown, and any size hot or iced coffee. That's a full morning with $5 just in your pocket, available from 5 to 11 all day. Then later in the day, the value keeps rolling. Roasted chicken or crispy chicken sandwich, created your way, $5. And they even have the new teriyaki sauce as well. So start your day strong. Fuel up whenever you need with Wawa $5 deals. Limited time. Exclusions apply. See Wawa.com for details. Gotta have a Wawa.
Guys, next up, we want to tell you about Xfinity, specifically their 5-year price guarantee. What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep that Wi-Fi at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that lets you stream the game even when the whole family's online. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and it's Xfinity's best equipment included. Take it from me, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken, and dreams grow bigger. But your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable, and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only, restrictions apply. Do it.
Oh, we might have some...
Don't announce it. You're going to have say what? Register your name.
Yeah, you're right. So I'll do that while we talk about it, but... Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers.
Man just out here announcing that that the name's available for you to steal. Don't do that.
Yeah, I'm trying to do this while we talk during the show because we gotta go. I haven't changed it in a long time, so I have to make sure I even know what I'm doing overall. So Sixers win, and they get a really solid win. All right, Kelly Oubre. Derek. We always, at least as of late, we're sitting there, we're saying, no, don't take that one. Don't take that one. But the shots weren't bad tonight from Kelly. He was 3 for 5 from 3, 21, 8 boards. As you talked about rebounding making sure that they secure the boards. He did a really good job of helping out on the rebounds. So those floorboards, a lot of those went to Kelly Oubre. Solid night, 8 for 14, 8 boards, 3 assists. And I think he also had 1 steal. Yeah, he had 1 steal. Solid performance from Kelly Oubre. One of his better games. And he had a solid game again against the Indiana Pacers, but he was really good tonight.
He was. And, it was one of those games where he was really good in a lot of different ways, which I feel like lately with Kelly, we've been getting he hustled, but he couldn't make shots, or maybe he made shots, but he had some bad decisions, or even at times his defense has taken a step back. This was one where he put it all together. And like you mentioned, the hustle plays, the big shots, and he hit a lot of big shots. He even had the ball moving a little bit, with the exception of maybe that one offensive foul in the third quarter. Mm-hmm. That sequence when Embiid made a terrible outlet pass, and then I forget, somebody airballed a 3, and then Kelly committed an offensive foul all in one possession.
Yes,
I'm like, oh no, this is where everything's going to fall apart. And it did fall apart. They ended up, I think Miami took an 81-80 lead, came all the way back from 16 down, but then they came back. But with the exception of 1 or 2 sequences here and there, there's almost nothing to nitpick from Kelly. And whenever he plays a game like that, we've talked time and time again that it's when Joel's out, it's when Paul's out that Kelly tends to revert to some of his worst instincts, because he's trying to do, I don't want to say too much because they need him to do a lot, but he's trying to do a lot. And when he does that, you tend to see some of the warts. Well, this is one where he ended up shooting 14 times, but almost every one of those shots you were comfortable with, you were okay with. There were shots that he can make, and there were shots that he needed to take to keep the defense honest. Look, he's not going to come out here and shoot 3 for 5 from 3 every night, but I thought the process to get there was great. I thought his overall hustle was really good. And like I said, for the most part, with maybe 1 or 2 nitpicks, I have almost nothing negative to say about the decisions he made on the basketball floor. And whenever Kelly, because I trust Kelly to give effort, I really do. Whenever you can trust Kelly's decision-making, he's going to be a really valuable player, and he was tonight.
No, he really was, man.
Did you get the name?
No, I'm still doing it right now. I'm just having some trouble. I don't know if it's, maybe you can do it while I talk. There you go.
Go on a monologue.
Yeah, I got it from here, Derek. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. But no, he again, and we have fun.
If I find out any of you register Devon's name,
don't say it.
You're blocked. I'm blocking you.
Here, you do it while I talk. So yeah, just we talk about so much about just the consistency and being able. Edgecombe, it was the 20+ in the last game for him against Indiana, and tonight it's Kelly Oubre, and Edgecombe was only 1 point off of that with his 19. But to see Oubre just come in with a purpose and the focus, because in the first quarter, as we talked about, it was all Embiid and Maxey. But in the second quarter, you got 10 from Kelly Oubre, where he was 4 for 6, no threes. He was 4 for 6, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, and the 4 points. All within the flow and the rhythm of the game. Didn't hijack it at all. And in that third quarter, 5 points, just 1 turnover, 1 foul. I think that was the silly foul in that third quarter. That's when things were going the other way. And in the fourth quarter, you needed the 6 that he had, and those 6 came off of 2 big 3-pointers for Kelly Oubre. Some defensive miscues from him tonight at times. And I think that's when everything just started to go the other way for the Sixers. But in general, when you have him as that 4th option, or maybe even the 3rd option where he was more of an offensive threat for a good portion of the game than VJ Edgecombe was, but you had moments where it was Embiid and Maxey in the first quarter, Kelly Oubre in that second quarter, VJ Edgecombe in the fourth quarter. Everybody took their turn. So when you have someone like Kelly Oubre who can play within himself, understand what's needed of him, and play that way and score as efficiently as he did, then you're looking at something pretty good with the Sixers group and with the Sixers lineup. So love to see him do that type of stuff once again as the 3rd or 4th option. And even when Embiid was struggling, you saw that he was the one that was the catalyst for their points. Even in that second quarter, as we talk about, he had 10 in that second quarter. He was the leading scorer in the second quarter, along with Edgecombe and Embiid. But to be able to take turns and still be within the flow of the game, where they shot 50% from the floor, rebounded well, 17-8 in that second quarter, That's the type of stuff that you need from Kelly Oubre. So when he has a few off games, but comes back and bounces back and has this, you can clearly see where the importance is with him in the lineup.
No, and it is Kyle Wright in the chat mentioning the Embiid effect, and it's huge. Like I've brought up these numbers a bunch, but like if you look at everyone's shooting percentages, everyone's percentages from threes, with and without Embiid on the floor, it's drastic. I haven't run the numbers in a couple of weeks, but like Tyrese Maxey was legitimately 10% better from three when Embiid was on the floor. Kelly Oubre was even more drastic than that. He was like a legitimate 15-point swing based on whether or not Embiid was on the floor. VJ was up. Quentin was up. Pretty much everyone, every single perimeter player was more efficient when Joel's on the floor, and that's a combination of, you've got Joel creating space for them, you've got Joel forcing double teams, and you just got Joel as an outlet valve. And so many of these players, when you force them to take and create more shots, obviously when you create a shot, it is much more difficult than when you're finishing a play. And Embiid is able to take on those, last second shot creation plays. He's able to, be a release valve for everyone when they get trapped. Tyrese Maxey, when you start talking about trying to trap Tyrese, having Embiid there in the middle of the floor just changes the geometry of the court completely. And I think Kelly is probably more prone than anyone of when you try to scale him up, that's when the warts really show. But he's so consistently better year over year over year alongside Joel Embiid that it's a huge part of the equation. And, Kelly, they're going to have a decision on him coming up here in the offseason. Obviously, Joel's going to be here. How much you can expect Joel to be on the floor is an open question. But he is such a more impactful player when he has Embiid to play off of. It's truly wild.
Absolutely. All right, let's take our final break. When we come back, we'll update the standings. We'll get to the Super Chats and so much more to talk about a few other players that played well in tonight's game. Sixers win 124-117 over the Miami Heat. Standings, very important. We'll let you know what happened with the Orlando Magic tonight as well. Final break right here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show. Time to tell you about our presenting sponsor, Bet365. Whatever the moment's never ordinary at Bet365. Over 90 million users worldwide, 780 live events each year, and you get early payouts in the NBA and the NHL. Where else are you getting that? Nowhere but Bet365. And you can always find great super profit boosts, regular profit boosts as well. It's a great place to place your wagers on the games that you love. Also, for new customers and new customers only, guess what? You get $200 in bonus bets when you sign up. That's right, win or lose. You're also getting that nowhere else but Bet365. All you have to do is sign up using the code PHLY365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5, and you get $200 in bonus bets credit to your account. Bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Guys, listen up because there is an incredible money-making opportunity coming up with the World Cup thanks to our friends at AirDNA, the leader in data on short-term rentals. Here's some quick tidbits of information to show just how much of an opportunity the World Cup presents. Over 5 million fans will attend a game, and AirDNA is already seeing a 136% increase in short-term rental demand across all host cities, and we're still months away from the event. AirDNA just released a free calculator to see how much you can make renting your home out for the World Cup. People are charging 2 to 3 times more for available rates than what they were charging last year. This money can help you reach your financial goals, whether that's remodeling the bathroom, going on a dream vacation, or paying off some of that mortgage. This is a once-in-a-lifetime tourism event driving this demand, so don't sit on the sidelines. All right, listen to the sound of my voice. Think about that brand new patio, season tickets, the epic vacation. Hell, go to the World Cup and stay with a friend while you rent out your house. I don't care what you do with the money, but you got to go see how much you can make at airdna.co/Sixers.
Back here on the PHLY Sixers post-game show, Derek, Devon, Bree, Kyle's at the arena doing some great work as always. And all of you, hit the like button, like and subscribe, spread the word, tell a friend to tell another friend. We thank you as always for kicking it with us here on the PHLY Sixers podcast, the post-game show. Programming note, We are off on Friday and Saturday, off the next 2 days. We're back on Sunday. Sixers in Boston for the final game of the season series between the Sixers and Celtics. Big game there because the Sixers won the first two. Boston won the third. This is for tie-breaking once again with the Boston Celtics. It is a 7:30 pregame, 8 o'clock start time, nationally televised game against the Celtics. We still don't know if Jason Tatum is back for that game because he's now practicing it. Word is, the reports are he's practicing 5-on-5 now with the Celtics, not just the main Red Claws anymore. He is now practicing with the big team. So let's see what happens. And as we inch closer to the game, March 1st, I think it is. March 1st or March 2nd? Whatever it is.
It's in March.
Sixers Celtics on Sunday. Big basketball game coming up.
I hope he's not rushing it. I hope nothing bad happens
I hope
here.
He doesn't. Yeah, I hope he doesn't. All right,
this man took 3.5 years off from an Achilles.
Yeah, but I'm also not.
You're on the court though. You're on the court.
Also not making $50 million a year. I would have gotten back.
I don't know. I think it's a guaranteed contract. I probably would have taken a little more time off.
You're right. Who was that that kept taking the time? I can't remember. Who was that kept getting injured and they wanted him back out there on the floor? Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
Every time he was like, nope, I'll get back when I'm ready to get back. I'll get there. Super Chats will get to you. We'll update the standings. Time to head to the arena. Check in with our teammate on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line from the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Kyle Neubeck joining us. Kyle, great win, wild game, but they got it done. Record-setting night, all of it, man. Your initial observations from this game. And first, real fast, update on, was there anything with Joel Embiid and the rib?
Well, considering Joel Embiid was out of the locker room before the locker room even opened, we did not exactly get a lot of answers on him tonight. And there was a question to VJ and Kelly at the podium just now about, what does it say about Joel that he hit that big shot down the stretch after grimacing, grabbing at the rib, not playing for a good chunk of the fourth, and he got a long defense from VJ saying he could barely lift his arm, blah, 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 and he really wants to be out there. Joel's great. The media doesn't understand him, et cetera, et cetera. So no news, but at least one passionate defense from one of his teammates.
Yeah, I can't believe there's no real update. I mean, I can.
I was going to say, you understand the franchise.
I'm disappointed, but not
right?
surprised, I guess is the way that I would phrase that as we go dad mode. I guess just overall, obviously, outside of shaming his parents for not being there, what did Tyrese have to say in reflection of setting the franchise record?
Yes, I think it was very typical. Tyrese, he thanked Doc Rivers, he thanked Nick Nurse, he thanked Joel Embiid, saying, these are all the people that believed in me, shouted out the Philadelphia fans, so that they've been a big part of his success. I think his teammates were probably as excited, if not more excited, as he was. VJ actually joked just now. He's like, it's making it harder for me to break the record, but gonna try. So in good spirits, I think mostly he was focused on had to get the win tonight. And it was funny. There was an anecdote we heard it from Nick Nurse, and then Maxey confirmed this, that I guess in the Indiana game, Tyrese went into that game completely unaware that he was that close to the record. And then he hits the 2 early threes, and Trendon Watford makes a comment to the effect of, hey, you might be able to get that record tonight. And Tyrese goes, what record? I have 8 points. And then it's in his head the rest of the game, and he misses every single three the rest of the game. So there was a bit of a full circle, maybe some poetic justice type moment that Trendon got the assist on the shot that eventually was the record breaker tonight. So he was ready to get it out of his system and out of the way in the first quarter. Thankfully, he did. Frankly, he didn't contribute a lot on offense for long stretches of this game otherwise. Like, second quarter was mostly VJ and Joel. And then the third quarter, at the end of it, was when Maxey had a big push there at the end to keep them out in front. But incredible job by him. I think because I got into an argument with somebody tonight, like, there should be a different record for guys after a certain year. It's like, you understand. He just did that in like 500 fewer attempts than Allen Iverson did it for the Sixers. So tremendous achievement, and I hope that he can, double or triple this record by the time it's all said and done.
Kyle, we also talked, you mentioned VJ Edgecombe, upset that now it's going to make it harder for him to catch that record. But the way that he is playing after the All-Star break, tonight, the poise down the stretch, the 7 points, and the mid-range shots, we discussed it a little bit. That being on your end of the floor, especially in the second half, just tremendous work by him as he continues to get better and better at game number 54 and what he's able to do in these crunch time situations looking like a veteran.
Yeah, and Maxey shouted him out for the zone, as usual. This is no surprise to anyone who's watched the Sixers Heat game in the last 10 years. The zone gave them a lot of problems in the second half. They played a lot more of it. And Maxey specifically shouted VJ out for remembering you are indeed allowed by basketball rules to drive against the zone. That is a thing that you can do. So instead of playing the side-to-side, pass the ball around the perimeter type game, VJ took the onus and said, I'm going to get to the paint or I'm going to get around the paint. They had a lot of rim protection waiting down there between Bam and Khalil Ware and some of the help defense they can play there. In fact, there were even possessions when Joel was in the game, second half, where they would have Hawk as more matched up with Joel, Bam as the backline defender. And so that you're crowding the paint there. It's very difficult to get all the way to the rim. And VJ's success as a mid-range guy has been just unbelievable to watch coming out of the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Maxey said too tonight, I asked him, when did you guys know or feel that you could trust this kid in big moments in fourth quarters? And he looked at me and he's like, I think it was the first game. You're in Boston and he's hitting big shots, making big plays under the bright lights. They go to MSG and he has 2 different big games in New York and a place where a lot of bright lights, a lot of big celebrities, a lot of attention is on you. So at every turn, he has met the challenge of the season. And after it looked like he was just kind of dead in the water there for a little bit, scoring the ball, he is back in a big way out of the All-Star break.
He took a pretty hard fall there in the first half, too. Did he mention anything post-game about any ill effects from that?
No, in fact, he was singing, or I guess rapping, I guess I would say, in the not just the locker room post-game, but after the podium. I didn't recognize the song without any kind of instrumentation, but Miami was mentioned in it. Okay. So I think there was a little bit of a celebratory vibe, given that they just beat the Heat. So I will circle back, of course, but did not hear anything from him to suggest he's hurting.
Disappointed that it wasn't one of Kelly Oubre's new singles, that he wasn't,
Devon, do I have a story to share with you? Kelly was asked about his music tonight at the podium. I will post the footage shortly because Kelly and VJ did their post-game media together, and VJ was just cracking up the whole time Kelly's getting asked about this. He got asked, how have your teammates received it? And Kelly's long answer was essentially my focus is on basketball first. I am clearly not a rapper. I'm a producer. I like to make beats, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, but I'm glad everybody has found the Paul Walker line funny because it was meant to be funny, referencing the one lyric in one of his songs. And then he clarified, so I'm not remembering this lyric off the top of my head, but I believe he clarified and said that the one line involving Vin Diesel was about wanting his abs and not a different body part that sounds close to abs. All right. So we had a bit of a chuckle fest here after the game with Kelly about that. It was a lot of good spirits tonight after a good win.
Well, it's also easy too, Kyle, to ask that kind of question after the game that he had, 21-8.
Of course.
And
yes.
You can ask it during the loss, but when they win, and he plays that way. That's after the struggles that we have collectively talked about for a little bit here after he came back and he was really, really good. hit a little bit of a wall there where he wasn't all that great. They go into the All-Star break and a couple of games afterwards since where he's played pretty well. And tonight they needed his big threes in the fourth quarter, and they needed just his overall, the rebounding where he picks up 8, a lot of those floorboards because the boxing out, as Derek mentioned from Joel Embiid, was really good to allow his teammates to pick those up. So his all-around game was good tonight.
Yeah, the all-around game was good, but I also just think that was a classic. It felt like every single shot he hit in the second half was at the exact moment where the game could have swung one way or another, where Miami's on a run, it's tie game, maybe they're down by 2, maybe they're down by 4, and hey, if they run the other way and take the lead, I don't know, are the fans going to start turning? Are there boos? Do emotions get low? And Kelly felt like he was the guy who staved off 2 or 3 different moments where this game could have gone in the other direction. And it speaks to something we talk about a lot, right? Like the percentages say for his career and for most of his time in Philly, he's not a great shooter. But I do feel confident that he is confident in every shot that is going up, right? And so it doesn't matter if it's in the middle of a blowout. It doesn't matter if it's in the fourth quarter and it's a 3-point game. I feel in my bones, just like Kelly Oubre does, that he thinks he's going to make that shot. Does that mean he's going to make it? No. But that mentality is so important in big games against good teams in hostile environments. Tonight is obviously not a hostile environment. He's in front of the home faithful. But time and time again, I think he's shown during his time here that is an important mental trait and that he's a huge part of this game tonight. I felt bad in the recap. I focused so much on, boy, they sucked in the third quarter and talking about how the 3 main guys tonight veered off the path in the third quarter. And I really didn't give him enough love for the night that he had. So here's me doing it now. Great game by Kelly Oubre.
Well, last one from me. Speaking of that third quarter, Sixers, obviously the worst third quarter team in the NBA this year. One of the worst in modern history. Only team that's even remotely close is Utah Jazz, who literally stops trying in the second half. Were you more annoyed by how inept they were to start the third, or impressed that they bounced back and retook control of the game?
I'd say annoyed only because they did bounce back and they played great in that middle portion of the fourth onward, where that's how you close out a game, right? They get stops. Adembona even comes in to spell Joel. I think they were planning on that Joel might be done between the fatigue and the rib thing and whatever else he has going on, and he managed to give them another 90 seconds. But to get a lift from Adem coming in, Oubre shot making, VJ shot making, a really nice time drive or 2 from Tyrese, that's all well and good. But because this third quarter thing just won't go away, I'm so over it, as are all the fans. I'm glad that they had as good of a first half as they did, right? Because I will say, I think that's one of the best halves they've had against a good team this year in terms of their offensive execution. They got guys like Watford felt really involved in the Joel-heavy lineups, which is nice because he didn't play at all in the second half. There was room for VJ, Tyrese, and Joel all to get going for different stretches. They played 6 to 8 horrible minutes, but they were so horrible that it was a tight game down the stretch. So they got to figure this out. I can't believe it hasn't turned at this point, but at this point, I just am going to have to accept that it is a feature of this season. No,
I compared it to Mario Kart, where coming out of the half, every opponent gets a blue shell, and you're right back. It's unbelievable.
Or it's like in Madden where they have the rubber band AI. So if you get up 3 touchdowns, the game says, nope, this guy's got glue hands now at safety, and he's going to pick it off 3 straight times. So I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's no longer a trend. We're way past that now.
Yeah.
And they have to figure this out for the postseason, or just the second half of the season and postseason. But Kyle, thanks so much, man. Make sure everybody go read allphly.com for the recap from Kyle, and sign up while you're there for the combine offer of $36 for your first year. Kyle, enjoy your day off. Your 2 days off.
2 days off.
We're
going to have practice.
Outside of the practice
we'll be in
part.
Camden on Saturday.
Outside of the practice.
Good news, a full day off tomorrow.
Yes, so enjoy your day off tomorrow. certainly on practice, and we'll see you on Sunday, 7:30 for Sixers Celtics. Thanks, man.
See you guys.
You got it. Kyle Neubeck joining us on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line, and we are headed to overtime, everyone, here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show. Head on over to allphly.com for the remainder of the program. Thank you on the television side. We'll see you at 7:30 on Sunday for Sixers Celtics, another big game for the 76ers. Let's get to the Super Chats, and then we'll get to the standings. EJ says, maybe not unsung hero, but unsung plays. Dominic Barlow, tough game, but had a big three.
Yep.
Did they count it as a three?
It was a 3. Originally,
Okay.
they only gave him 2, but they ended up going back, yeah.
Big three, a big out back on the Joe miss, and a great hands on a bullet pass from Joel for a tough layup. I remember that one there from Dominic Barlow. EJ, you're absolutely right. Dominic Barlow hasn't scored a lot, hasn't rebounded big games where we've talked about him so much in the first half of the season, but still paying dividends and doing his part with the small things.
Yeah, look, he's going to give you everything he has in terms of energy and effort. He's a pretty smart and attentive and communicative defender. Obviously, he's a versatile defender. And yeah, look, I don't expect much from him offensively. Like the corner 3 is great, but he'll make one of those every 3 or 4 games. Like to see a little more off-ball cutting, but I think that's mostly on Nurse and the rest of the team. I would just like to see, if I had one nitpick, I would just like to see a little more consistency on the glass. But defensively, like he is an absolute weapon, and he really makes them better.
What do you attribute the more on the glass to? Because it's not that the effort isn't there, and we know he tracks the ball well. That's just the way the ball bounces, where it's going away from him, even though he tracks it pretty well.
He's never necessarily a lot of his utility on the glass comes on offensive rebounds. Defensively, I just think he has so much responsibility of rotating and switching and running out to contest shots that he's not going to be in position as much as you want. I don't really blame him all that much. That's a lot of scheme stuff. And offensively, it's just some nights you're not going to get those bounces. But finding a way to get him a little more consistency in that would be great.
Yep. All right, let's go to Riaz next. Saying, guys, are you a little concerned about Embiid's rib injury? The narrative is we could be a play-in team, but I think we can get a home court series and also get to the 4 seed. Also, would Morey kick the tires on Middleton? Thank you. Riaz, we appreciate it. We did talk about the Embiid stuff, so that was a little while ago. So I hope Riaz was paying attention, hanging out with us there, still with us during those conversations. But yeah, we are concerned until we don't get an update. And after Kyle gives us he wasn't available to speak after they get into the locker room, we don't like it.
No,
so
I mean,
practice on Saturday, you hope that there's an update.
He might have been
day.
Getting looked at. Like, you can understand that. It would be nice if Nick was a little more useful on injury updates. Like, it's patently absurd to me that
I don't know.
Coach can just come out and be like, oh, I don't know. I never know. I never talk to my players about their injuries. Look, I understand you don't like that it's part of your job, but it's part of your job. Until they actually make the medical staff available to the reporters, we have to ask you. And fans should be able to get this kind of information. And look, the answer is probably just like, he's got to get some tests. We don't know. That's
he's getting
fine.
looked at right now.
Yeah. But it's just they're so bad at updates like that. It's infuriating.
All right. Appreciate it, Riaz. Davon, a.k.a. Schoolboy Beats. Nurse got to stop with these 3-guard lineups with campaign.
I was going to say, there's versions of, like, if you're going to put out Tyrese and VJ and Quentin, I can kind of get behind that. These campaign ones, I agree 100%.
With the 3-guard lineups.
They have, right.
Yeah.
Maxey and campaign should almost never play next to each other. Almost never. And it is annoying. We're like, well, we can't have Jared because Jared can't play next to Tyrese. And by the way, I don't disagree with that. Like, that was a huge concern with that pairing. But man, you can't get by putting campaign next to Tyrese. Like, there's no way that's going to hold up defensively. And by the way, campaign hasn't exactly been all that good offensively either. Yeah, he moves the ball every now and then, but boy, outside a very select few made threes, he's not giving you much on offense. Certainly not enough to offset that defensive liability.
No. What did you think of campaign minutes, though, when outside of the 2 plays, there was one 3-pointer that we talked about that was awful.
Yep.
And I think there was one where he was over dribbling and did some silly stuff with the basketball.
Yep.
But in general, his minutes tonight, outside of what you just went on with Davon, but okay minutes from campaign?
Yeah, look, he's obviously very limited inside the arc.
He had
I
a
think
big
both
three
of
when they needed it.
His threes were, both of his made field goals were threes.
Yeah, and they needed those at that
They
moment.
needed, and look,
Yeah.
he'll have times where he's going to make a shot. As funky as it looks, like he
we
can
all
shoot.
know it. It goes in. Yeah.
But I do think like he will move the ball and at least have a little bit of creativity and a little bit of driving kick in his game. To me, it's just he gets those 8 minutes, 10 minutes that Tyrese is out, and he shouldn't really be playing any more than that. But
Right.
Today, like you said, the threes were big, a little bit of ball movement. There's just too much of them. That's all.
All right. That'll do it for all of the Kyle minutes, campaign minutes, all these others. Dem Bona wasn't bad.
No.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bona was all right. Grimes was okay. Justin Edwards not in the rotation anymore. Campaign is taking those minutes. Trendon Watford.
Yeah, we had Say What comparing Edwards to Furkan, and I think that's a little disrespectful to Furkan, quite frankly. Furkan made shots.
He did make shots, and he even had a much bigger stretches of success where he hit shots, handled the basketball, assisted the basketball.
Well, and the handles between those two are a pretty big difference.
Yeah, big time.
Also, he wore yellow shoes. It was fantastic. I miss Furkan.
Kind of copied off of Kale with that one.
Okay.
That was like Kale's
I mean, you would
staple.
know you would know Mikhail's footwear choices better than I would.
That was a staple of his where you had
I'm just
yellow
saying,
one
like
year.
those were big yellow
Yeah,
shoes.
they
Like it
were.
looked like he was wearing a pair of bananas on his feet, and I loved it.
I'll show you Kale's because I have one picture that was supposed to get blown up to put on the wall, and it was when he was with the Suns, and it was the finals year, and he had the yellow sneakers on, and he has a big foot too. And they were some bright shoes, but it became a thing in Phoenix, and he stuck with it.
Furkan was also fun in the locker room, man. He enjoyed life,
The
and he
best.
was a good storyteller and a good dude, and I appreciated him.
Yeah, man. We used to talk clothes
Yeah.
because of
He had a lot of
the
interests.
European
Yep.
fashion. Like I remember one year, who was it? It was Dario. We were sitting down with Dario.
Oh, talk about a fun guy to talk to.
Oh man, he was the best. Me and Brian Seltzer, shout out B Seltz. Me and Seltz were doing one of our shows, one of our podcasts, and we were sitting down with him, and he had this slick leather jacket on, man, and it was like, Dario, we got to talk about this.
Remember when Dario would you'd go on the All-Star break. Dario would come back with like the biggest tan in the world. That dude just enjoyed life.
Yeah. Who was the point guard? Raul Neto.
Okay. Yeah.
We did a sit down with him. And, you get these in these different settings where they're not, you're talking basketball, but it's a different setting. He was like, you got to go to Spain with us. He said, if you go to Spain, look, I will be your tour guide. I was like, Raul, we're there. And he had some cool clothes too.
Wasn't he a Canary Islands guy?
Got to take us shopping. Was it Canary Islands?
I thought he was.
Oh man, but it's like, all right. This is the like the other fun stuff, everybody, that when you get these guys in these different types of settings, man, and especially when you get to talk clothes and all these other things that they're into, it's just fun stuff, man. So those two, yeah. But shout out Furkan. He was the man.
Yeah. No, I like Furky.
All right, let's go around the league. First with the standings. By the way, here's the shoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, those are definitely yellow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. That's going on the wall. I'll send it to Bree so Bree can show it. But let's go to the standings. After tonight. So, Detroit lost last night to the San Antonio Spurs. Derek mentioned they're on an 11-game winning streak. They are playing some really good basketball right now. Boston is still second with a game and a half right now over the New York Knicks. Jason Tatum may be coming back. We'll see. Cleveland, with the James Harden injury, did not play last night. As we discussed it, Milwaukee did beat the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight, and James Harden did not play. That was a really good game, overtime. We mentioned Dennis Schroeder had a really good game, but Milwaukee beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. Toronto also lost last night. So you have that. So the Sixers are currently 1 game back of the Raptors for the 5th seed. Idle tomorrow and Saturday back on the floor on Sunday to take on the Boston Celtics. I'm just trying to see quickly when the Raptors play next. The Raptors do not have a game tomorrow. I'd imagine they play on Sunday. So Nothing changes as far as where guys are. Boston, Cleveland, New York, and Detroit do play tomorrow. Sixers, Raptors, idle. So are the Orlando Magic and the Miami Heat. Both Orlando and Miami lost tonight. Miami certainly losing to the Sixers tonight. And the Orlando Magic fell to the, who did we say they played tonight? Houston beat the Orlando Magic by 5 in Orlando. So the Sixers are a full game up on the Orlando Magic, and they have 2.5 games up on the Miami Heat after tonight's action. Pardon me, game and a half up on Orlando, and 2.5 up on Miami. So Sixers have won 3 in a row. They have the longest winning streak running right now with the Atlanta Hawks and the Charlotte Hornets currently in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and look, with 23 games left, we're getting to the point of the season where, like, we actually have to start watching this, and we have to start tracking the standings, because it is, like, this is a very tight race.
And you know I've been doing this since November. It's a flaw of mine. I just do it, but go ahead.
Devon does 2 things that Kyle and I don't do at all. He knows the standings, and he knows the schedule. And Kyle and I are completely clueless, especially on the schedule. Like, when Devon was like, hey, you guys we have 2 days off, I'm like, we do? That's awesome. Every day I wake up in the morning, I check whether we have a game, and that is my schedule. No, I mean, this is a huge stretch. This was a huge game to pull out the win for, and there's just everyone. It's a very tight, and you have to stay in the top 6, and really you'd love to get up to 5. Because I think you want to, as much as I will joke about the Knicks and them being a fraud-ass basketball team, you don't want that in the first round. You'd like to avoid that if you could. So staying in the top 6 is a must. Getting up to 5 would be great, and they have a chance to do that.
If you had your pick of the top 6 right now that you had to play.
Oh, Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clearly Toronto.
Okay.
For a whole bunch of reasons, but especially their
Jakob
youth.
Poeltl is back now, so he is playing a little bit. But to your point, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's just I think there's a clear cutoff after the top 4 in terms of talent, and also just in terms of playoff experience and the threat level they possess. Yeah.
Yeah. So as Derek laid it out, if the season ended today, which it doesn't, but if it ended today, New York would be the first round matchup for the Sixers in New York, as they would start their that playoff series off. If they bumped up to 5, Cleveland would be the matchup.
Yeah. Also, as much as I enjoy picking on the Knicks, I don't want to actually root against the Givens family that early in the playoffs. So I would like to push that off until the conference finals, if possible.
No, I hear you. I mean, I wouldn't be able to go to any games. But
if you show up in a PHLY credential cheering on the Knicks, we will not be on speaking terms.
I would not be able to go to the games. Derek will be in New York anyway, most likely for covering the game. And we'll see. But it's important. 23 games left. We are on seeding watch. We are firmly in seeding watch. I remember, I think it was Al making fun of me when I was checking the stats. And it was only because we knew that they wouldn't be a top 3 seed, or at least we didn't think. We predicted that they would be somewhere between 5 and 6 or play in, but 5 and 6. And that's the reason why I paid attention, just because of, hey, man, all of these teams are all jumbled up. So you're looking at Toronto, Philadelphia, Orlando, Miami, Atlanta, and Charlotte. And Milwaukee is only a game and a half back of Charlotte. But that's why. So we're on watch, and they're on the road a lot. And they need Paul George back, too, when they get him back on March 25th as the game that he will be eligible to play once again this season for the 76ers. Bree, did you get that photo that I sent you? I sent you a quick photo of the shoes that Kel was wearing when he was with Phoenix, with the yellow shoes that Derek talked about. So let's do the roll call first. If we get to the shoes, we'll get to the shoes. Let's get to the world famous roll call.
All right, we will start off. What were the super chatters that we had? Do you remember?
Davon and
Riaz,
Schoolboy,
okay,
and EJ.
There we go.
Yes.
So we'll start off with those. Appreciate you guys very much. I want to also go to Rick Morse, Remo K.
Go get him, Rick.
We had somebody who is a very regular part of the show back up, and that's Ash Monroe. Ash, what was the Sixers? I think it was 21-12 with Joel Embiid in the lineup. He dropped the...
Always letting us know.
If you remember 2 years ago, before all the injury stuff, Ash was every game letting us know the Sixers record with Embiid in the lineup because it was incredible. We are back at that point. We're going
Shout out Ash.
It's nice to have you back,
Look at
Ash.
Ash.
It really is.
You get a bell ringer for that.
We have been doing this long enough now where like we have people that come back to us, and that's fantastic.
Love it.
T. Burl, X-Man.
What up, T?
There we go.
Look at the sneakers.
They are yellow. See, that's about the extent of my fashion knowledge.
He's a
but
Nike.
yeah.
He's a Nike athlete, everybody. So those are Nikes, just to let everybody know. All right.
Devon over here, like, yeah, he gets money from that.
That's the one on the wall.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the one that was the finals, and I think that was his career high at that point when he dropped 30 plus in the finals.
Okay.
So that was one of my favorite ones.
Well,
Yeah.
Good luck, Mikhail, unless you play the Sixers.
Fair enough.
Jazz Graham, Winona, music lover.
Ladies, play that music.
Yeah. Chris Blaylock, say what?
Say what?
Larry K. Marty Bones. Nice seeing Marty Bones.
What
again.
up, Bones?
Kyle Wright. I Gavini. AC Phila. Always fighting the fight.
Yes, indeed.
Philly Star. Brian McKnight. No, Brian
B Night.
Stacy Stoltz. James Alexander. Constantine. Smy Guy.
Smoggy.
76ers TTP. James. I'm just going to call him James because he was a little snarky towards me, so you don't get the full username being sent out. But hi, James. How you doing?
Jay.
Let's see if I scroll up and see anyone else. There's a Devon Givens in the chat. No underscore on this one. We're just going to start calling you the underscore.
Thank you. When is YouTube going to change it back? I mean, it's been like 3 months.
It's absurd. I really hate these names. I hate them with a passion.
Insane.
The Vic fan. I see the Vic fan in there scrolling up. I'm not sure I see anyone else, and quite frankly, my scroll buffer is probably about to die pretty soon. Marcus Blackstock, I apologize because you were in the Discord as well.
Got a shout out between and unseen.
Okay, there you go. Yep.
It's Sixers
No,
after
he's
dark.
right there. I should have.
Sixers after dark.
I
Between and
should have said
unseen.
that. Yep. I did say Winona. I'm 100% sure.
Hey,
I said
no, yes,
Winona.
you did.
Yeah,
You said it with the ladies,
Absolutely.
Jazz. And, yeah.
Absolutely. That's all I got there.
All right.
We appreciate each and every one of you showing up here on a Thursday? It's Thursday, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Friday and Saturday.
I told you,
off.
I'm not the calendar guy.
That's okay. That's all right. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave a comment as well in the YouTube section. Let us know how we did here tonight, how we've been doing overall. We really appreciate the support. As always, we need it here at the PHLY Network on our channel, continuing to build, and we do so with the help of you. So thank you very much. When you're in there and you hit the like button, like and subscribe, also hit the bell icon to let you know that it is, in fact, showtime here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. And programming note again, off Friday and Saturday, back 7:30.
Tomorrow. We're off tomorrow.
Off tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
7:30 Sunday, special 8 o'clock tip time, Sixers Celtics final game of the 4-game season series. And this will determine if it's going to be a 2-2 or the Sixers having the edge in the tiebreaker for the season. Would be fantastic if they caught up to the Celtics for that to be.
If they catch up to the Celtics, they're doing some things right down the stretch.
And the Celtics not doing things right on their end. So that means some good things there. Everybody, have a great rest of your night. Enjoy your Friday and your Saturday. We'll see you on Sunday. Another big game. Sixers, they're riding the 3-game winning streak. Can they extend it against the Celtics on Sunday? Will Jason Tatum be back on Sunday? Another reason to hang out with us on Sunday on the PHLY Sixers podcast. For Derek and Kyle, Bree, the president of basketball operations. Great job as always, Bree.
But the P-bops that you like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which, look, not everyone's turned on Daryl, but enough have turned on Daryl that I want to make sure that we separate Bree.
And that's why she's the best president of basketball operations there is. We'll talk to you at 7:30 on Sunday. Sixers Celtics. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.